Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at Grimcoven. This is Awaken Realms' newest original game from the makers of Nemesis, Tainted Grail, ISS Vanguard, Dragon Realms, Ether Fields. So this one has a similar feel to it, to Ether Fields, but less dreams, more horror. But I don't think it's anything that's going to scare anybody. You're basically, like vampire hunters, essentially. Think of it that way. So let's take a look at what's inside. This is actually quite a large box. It is taller than it is wide. It's not their standard square box. I think they've just gone ahead and packed all of the stretch goals into here. I'll be interested to see if what hits retail shelves is this same size. But this one's pretty beastly. I do appreciate only having to have one box to keep up with, though. Although, as you saw, we have some other smaller boxes to take a look at. All right, we have a typical Awaken Realms rule book. They continue to get better, but a lot of times the rule books can be a little scattered. They are not native English speakers, so sometimes things get a little lost in translation. But I have read through this, the PDF version, and this does a good job of taking you through step by step, your first couple turns of like a tutorial game. So do appreciate that. We have a ton of punch boards here, and it is going to be like modular map system. So we'll be looking at that here in a second. And we've got some reminders of where everything goes. This is always nice. On the back side, it is the smaller miniatures. So we're going to be seeing these here in just a minute. That looks nice. Definitely keep up with that. We have some scenario sheet trackers. This is not a campaign game, so I don't really know what these are, but lots of books. We've got Convergence Hunt book, the Devour Hunt book. So this is like the scenario. You want to go up against the Swamp Mistress. I'm only going to flip here, just here we go. Setup, prologue, epilogue, and then the rest of what's in here is different scenarios, actually. Just scenario 1, scenario 2. Looks like it goes up to scenario 5. So you play through 5 scenarios, take out the Swarm Mistress, and you're good. So there's actually quite a few of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in just the core box. They did have a couple of other boxes like this where it would just be something you're hunting. I did not pick those up. I've been struggling to get through everything as it is. So I wanted to see how much of this I could play through. It seems like there's going to be a lot in the core box. I didn't need everything. All right. Yeah, more stuff in plastic. Here we have, I guess I'm unboxing this upside down, dual layer player boards. They always do a really nice job with their player boards. We don't need this anymore. So you can see here, corrupted versus non-corrupted. We'll be installing some wheels here on this side. This over here is going to be where you're placing your dice. So this is a dice placement action game. So you roll out your dice. They're going to have these various symbols on them, like the feet, the star. I can't remember what they all are, but rolling your dice, so there is a little bit of luck involved, but that's going to then determine how you place your dice, what cards you place them on. Let's see who else we have here. We have Duality. There's Duality's corrupted side. Doesn't even look the same, does it? And you see their boards are a little different here. Oh no, they're not. That's right, assist. So you can assist someone by offering them a die. You would put the die you're assisting with here, and you're going to give them a token of your color. So Gunslinger is blue. And that means they can look over here to yours and use that die. Man, he got some teeth. Keeper corrupted. And this last one looks like it is, yeah, blank for us to put in some of these other, you know, additional players or expansion players, things like that. I think if you pick up the expansion heroes, they're not going to come with a whole big player board. They'll just come with this, and you can slot them in there. And these guys are just white, so. This is also dual layered. This is going to be where you place the thing you're fighting and all the stages of its decks. So that's nice. That's dual layered as well. All right, let us spin this around. And big wide open tray. All right, we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. But here you go. Here is all of the miniatures. We've got some teeny tiny little things. I believe these are for the player boards here. But yeah, so these are, you know, washed in their standard Sundrop wash, red for the enemies, which looks really nice. And then, I mean, this guy's really cool. Here, this is this the Corrupted No, Corrupted Duality. I forget who this was, but I think this is I mean, this thing is actually floating. I don't know if you could see inside there, but this upper part is solely supported by this blue, electric blue part. Here is the Duality Corrupted one. That's right, because it looked like a bird. Oh, come on. Ooh. At least I think this was the Corrupted Duality. I have to figure out how to put that back in there. There we go. Haha. So I think that might be Corrupted Gunslinger, or maybe not. Let's see if we can find... Oh no, because here's the Corrupted Gunslinger with his teeth. And then here's regular Gunslinger. Okay. Here's Duality. Is this Corrupted Duality? Weird. Yeah, I think this is. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at all of the things. But there you go. Those are some of the standard size miniatures. They do have a standee version. So maybe that's why this box is so big. This is just the size they needed to get all the standees in. But don't worry, these are not the only standees we're going to see here. Oh, cards galore. Another lid to hold everything. We have a little bat character here. Lots of dice. These are the dice you're going to be rolling. We have a super large miniature here. Look at this guy. I mean, he is mean and ugly. He's literally like on top of a building, on top of a church. So this appears to just be dice. Yeah, nothing but dice, but this is, you're gonna need all these dice. Oh, where'd that go? And you can also see there's various colors of them. There's, you know, blue, green, black, purple. So, lots of dice. Nothing but dice in that tray. We have another tray that's got some of these larger dice here. What else we got here? We got some acrylic markers. These are like what you pass to someone else to say, here, have my turn. I don't know what these white ones are, have my die. We got some standees for something. I don't know what for. Standee bases. We actually have a lot of standee bases. Maybe there's still some standee things. And then these two dice. These are big chunky fellas here. So yeah, I'm assuming we'll be able to figure out what goes in there. Don't worry, we'll have a video on that coming up next on the channel. Let's see what else we got here. Lots and lots of cards. One free card here. One little corruption card in a single sleeve. All right. These were some of the stretch goals here. These are little portals with the see-through. You can pass through these to zip across the map. Who else we got here? I think this is actually that corrupted witch that we were looking at her book. Yeah, she's got like gravestones, some slashed up wings there. I do like their, their color choice for this one, for the wash. Seems very appropriate. I don't feel like I need to. God, these things look like that's a little wiggly. Don't know how long that's gonna last. These things look like they came right out of Kingdom Death Monster. Like, I don't know if this is his head. It's a tiny little skull, but he's got no eyes anywhere else. How did that guy go in here? Make sure he doesn't break off. Where's my sheet? That's what we need. We need my sheet to show me how everything goes back in here. Yeah, he does go like that. Just do not want to break him. Maybe it is like that. All right. This guy's got a lot going on. I would not want to paint this guy up. And there's this thing that's just a amorphous blob that's taking over something, some kind of building. Actually, it looks like there's some graves in there. Oh, there is a person either controlling this thing or trapped in there. I can't tell. And then tentacle things here with a big mouth eating. This almost looks like a mimic. So yeah, basically these are the big bosses. And then one last guy here who is stuck in here upside down. This might be something else. This might have, I feel like I'm gonna be placing something in there. That does not look like a bad guy. That looks like some kind of location. All right, and then this guy goes in like this. Woo. All right, I'm actually thinking that I am going to stick this back in there like it was. Why not? Just protect those guys. All right, tons of cards. We're probably not going to look at all of them. These look like dividers. That's nice. Let's take a look at something. All right, so these are the big boss boards that are going to sit on this board here, like so. Should be following that. Those big chunky dice were what you roll. Just going to give you some special attributes here, but there is multiple of these. So there's Scenario 1 Dragon, Scenario 2. You can see that his damage gets worse here. He's got additional stages here, his special, so I don't know if I'm going to show off all of these, but yeah, there's 5 here. So here is the Devourer. That's the thing with the tentacles. Lots of stuff for him. I don't want to give away too much the Tormentor, the guy that's just nothing but skulls. We've got the Keeper Pretender, the Mannequin Pretender, Death Jester Pretender. Okay, wonder if these were in the smaller grouping here. I don't know. I have to figure out if we've got these guys. Or not. I didn't see them. All right, here we got some more. The Convergence. This is just a skull. Don't know what miniature that one was. There's the Swamp Mistress. General Undead. Yeah, we saw him. Undead General, sorry. Technomancer Pretender. Okay, so this is the one, this is who is got the lightning above her that we were looking at. Yeah, and there's that thing, Duality Pretender. Okay, so these guys are like, yeah, Gunslinger Pretender. So you're at one point gonna have to take on yourselves turned evil. I get it now. All right, and we also have, so these are some of the stretch goals, I believe, that you can just throw into that last spot. And I'm looking over here at my things, and I think, yeah, like we've got a detailed miniature for her, the mannequin, probably, yeah. Oh yeah, we have a keeper here. We have another gunslinger, and Duality Deputy and Technomancer Deputy. Okay, and these are, again, double-sided. So there we go. All right, I think it's time to look at the punch boards. All right, so a lot of these punch boards are going to be the map hexes, the terrain. We're also, like, there are terrain, whoa, that just popped right out. Terrain effects like this carriage here that we're going to get a miniature for in the terrain pack. We'll take a look at that here shortly. Just stick this back in here. So I'm gonna lose track of it. And also they have these, oh, so these are one of the things you're gonna put in a standee. These are going to help you keep track of step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Nice little touch there. That was not necessary. More terrain and some kind of bite token. The terrain is double-sided. Hunger token, it says here. You can see some of the terrain tiles have an action that if you're at that location, you can utilize this. I wonder what this is for. This is like what's on the player board, but it's a little different. But there's a well, a wishing well type of thing. Here we have burn effects. More actions that can be taken when you're on those locations. Busy. Some kind of lamppost area. This is stun. They did have acrylic tokens for this game as well. I think I just was on a budget when I backed this one. These skull totems, some gravestones. So these are all going to be, we have standees for these. So yeah, most of this is terrain. The maps. Oh, no, I take it back. We've got a lot more going on here. We've got treasure chests. We've got bullet tokens, reroll tokens, number tokens, damage tokens. These are going to be, this is like dualities specific tokens. This is for that knight guy with the big sword. Looks like some special tokens for each of them there. Let's see. Okay, yeah, treasure. These are interesting. They just say 2 and 4. I thought they would say 1 and 3 on the back, but they don't. What do we got here? So these are going to go onto the player boards with the wheels. Yep, 5 player boards we got. These are, we should have miniatures for these. We also have miniatures for these. These are your little pets, your familiars, companions. So yeah, shouldn't be too much we need to store in that tray. These I know are for when you are taking on the monster. You're going to put those in the corner here like so. And so it's going to tell you, all right, level, or maybe it's up here. It goes in here somewhere. And then it says, all right, level 1. And then it tells you, the cards will tell you which action you're going to do. Here we have nice boards for the mannequin and the death jester. What's this token? This token is curse. All right, and then not sure what these are for. This looks like a tornado. And let's see, this last token is just this. So yeah, not too much to punch and sort through. Let's take a look at some of the cards. All right, so you saw there's a ton of cards in this game. A lot of them are events and attack cards specific to each of the Grimcoven or the bad guys. So I'm not going to go through every one. There's some secret cards. There's like event cards. I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm just going to kind of cover some of the basic cards, what they look like and what they do. And then I'm going to make sure I unwrap things in order. Usually they have that in the rule book that says, all right, take these cards, put them behind this divider. They usually do a good job of that. But here, this is an elite minion card. So you can see you're going to roll that die on those 2 symbols. It's going to do this down here when it activates. You know, you basically just, this is standard AI stuff. Resolve the first if applicable, you go down the list. But this here, this is where those L-shaped pieces come in, and those numbers were just health. So on a level 1, it'd be 5, 6, or 7 health, and this here, see how his is lit up here, it would have been the 6 if he was a level 1. These guys get higher the higher your player count, things like that. There's that token. I'm not quite sure what that means, but these are the kind of elites, not the bosses, but the elite minions that are out there. Here we have an example of one of the boss cards. I don't know which boss deck it's from. It's an attack gunslinger on this side, but maybe different when we get over here. But this one is similar to Kingdom Death Monster, where you're taking out parts of their body. So in this case, it would be the leg. Again, there's going to be numbers under here on the bottom that, based on the level, tell you how much life this one part of the boss has. So you're gonna have to take out multiple parts of the boss. But again, here, focused. They're gonna move to the grief bound, may go through torture devices during this movement as if they were portals, attack all hunters in line of sight with one of the big chunky die. Then you're gonna move to the grief bound, may go through torture devices and attack all hunters in range 0 to 1 with 3 dice. So big attacks from them. All of their cards are going to look like this, and you could be dealing with multiple at the same time. Your cards, however, that you get as a hunter are going to look similar to this. So you can see here there is a place to put a die, either a double movement, or I guess this is just any die, and then spend 1 of whatever that symbol is here. Then you move 2 in a line, deal 1 damage to all other hunters and 1 enemy in range 0. During this action, you may resolve any of the effects below by spending such to deal 1 additional damage, to move 1 additional, to spend 1. So there's the basic actions you can take on your board, but as you gain these cards, these are going to give you places to place your dice as well. You know, just as a reminder, this this is like the die that would go right there. So there you go. And I was looking at them in a little more detail. Like the blue ones have like the double shield. The green ones have the double move on them. The purple ones have this double arcane symbol, and the black ones have the double knife. So you're going to be told what color dice you roll. Obviously that leads to what kind of actions you're more proficient in. Here we have just a companion card. So if you gain a companion, like the adaptive bat here, you would place a die. This companion moves 2, choose up to 2 enemies in range 0 of this companion, move the chosen enemies up to 2 spaces. So I guess it kind of, the bat allows you to reposition enemies on the board. Several companions in there. And then there's also, you're going to draw these randomly, and these are going to affect the terrain. So these are terrain specific cards. You may draw this one, and it says Holy Tree. Set up, place this card next to the forest terrain, and then any number of times per hunter phase on any forest space as an action. So there were actions written on the terrain. Also could come across one of these that if you're in a forest, there's going to be a holy tree there, and you can take this action in any forest space. I believe that's how it works. Again, there's lots of rule books. Some corruption cards. These are just negative consequences like wound cards that you have to deal with and get rid of. So that's the cards. That's most of the core box. Let's take a look at some of the extra stuff we have. All right, up first we have personal stories. This is a gameplay expansion. It's not going to include any miniatures or anything like that, and is to be used right along the main campaign. They started doing this with Tainted Grail, where this is essentially like the backstory for the heroes. And you'll get to, you know, there'll be additional story elements that you will come across as you play the game. These ones look really cool. Not only do they have additional cards you can unlock, you know, special cards here, they have bookmarks, which is really cool. But each of them have these little books now. They were, you know, just in previous entries, at least for Tainted Grail, it was just like one big book, and you just kind of flip through it to your character. But this is cool that they are making these individual books here, and this looks to be all of them. Like, we don't have the Clockwork Giant. He's an expansion character I did not pick up, but you know, there's duality, so that's a cool little touch that they put them into books this time. Everybody likes a book. Here we have the companions. So these are just miniatures to replace the standees. They're in this little type of box, which I'm not a fan of, because they don't hold up and they're harder to get out of. We'll see if we can find a spot for these guys in the box, but this is my favorite guy. He just looks a little lost in this world, but there's a ram, a rat, a raccoon, looks like a very sick dog, a lizard, an owl. So I guess there's not one for all of them. That's a shame. Like, there's not one for the bat. I thought there'd be one for the bat. But yeah, there we go. Let's see what the box says. A set of 6 high-quality companion miniatures to represent the companions from the base game. Cosmetic expansion does not include gameplay elements. I don't know. I don't know where the bat is, but there we go. And then last but not least, we have the terrain miniatures expansion. Again, this is purely cosmetic, but it turns those, you know, just little cardboard pieces into 3-dimensional. Again, though, I wish that this one, because it's going to be hard to fit this one into the core box. It's just too big. Not a fan of these type of boxes, unless you know it's going to just never be used again. So we saw, again, cardboard standees for all of these. I don't know if these are supposed to go like this. Yeah, it seems like they should fit like that. But so pile of rubble, I think, maybe. I don't know what this is. Something. Here we have the little treasure chests. That carriage token that we saw first. You know, this is just going to look so much more thematic on the board there. Here's that wishing well that we saw. This looks like it might have gotten bent up a little bit. We might have to see. Maybe it's meant to look like that, all curved. I don't know. It's a pretty well done miniature. We'll have to see if we can fix him. The way it sits in there, though, it almost pushes it up. So maybe it's supposed to be that way. Some coffins. These little geyser eruption things. These are like skulls. That's creepy. And then even bigger, and these are those tornado looking things here. So cool that they use like the different color resin or plastic or whatever it is. How do these go in there? So yeah, that's it. Not a ton in here. These things actually take up a lot of space. They appear to probably block off an entire space on the board. Like you can't get there. Oh, I didn't even notice there's a little skeleton on that side. Anyways, though, yeah, I would have loved for this to be a normal box so I can just pull the lid off and get to this stuff instead of pulling it out of that flimsier box. But anyways, that's really my only complaint. That's going to do it for our unboxing of Grimcoven. Obviously, we're going to be doing a reboxing video next. Once I get this all unpacked and put back away, we'll cover how we went about doing that. So keep an eye out for that video. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.